anything. It will be completely useless. Which is pretty easy to prevent. Don't take damage out of combat. Like, try to get the cloak in combat and shit. But still, I didn't really like the whole thing. And also, I found out some additional stuff you can do with a mage. One of many things is that Invis doesn't break if you use certain skills that don't do damage to the enemy. There's actually at least one skill that does damage that you can use, and that's the Wall of Flame. You can use it and not lose invisibility. But you can use stuff like Paralyze, that doesn't do damage, or Slicken, that doesn't do damage, or Wall of Draining, Wall of Flame. You can cast Phantoms and you won't lose invisibility. So the mage has some additional stuff just that you can do specifically with the mage that you couldn't do with the tactician. And then, yeah, of course, you have better summoned weapons. You have the Sitsal Lance. Or if it's like against enemies that do injuries, you can use the Blights. You have all kinds of spells, obviously. You just have so much more stuff you can do with a mage than with a tactician. The tactician itself is a useless class, or the fighter itself is a useless class. You just take it for that stupid brilliant thing that's even a bug, that's not even intended. You know what I'm saying? So, instead, I'm going to try and make this class work. Now, we won't have Brilliant before Brilliant Cloak, but we will have Blood Sacrifice. If you're very patient, Blood Sacrifice is enough to win any fight. But you have to be super fucking patient, and I'm not that patient. But we will rush the Brilliant Cloak, and once we have the Brilliant Cloak, we can use Wall of Flame to trigger it. And since the way the one challenge that doesn't let you flee from combat works, you are in combat, so you can also use Salvation of Time. So that was one of my reasons back in the day why I went Tactician, because I was like, hey, I can't use Salvation of Time out of combat, blah blah blah, I need Brilliant Tactician and whatnot. But it's not true at all. You're gonna be in combat anyway, even if the enemy doesn't see you. So it doesn't really matter at all. You can just use Wall of Flame to trigger Brilliant, and then you just spam Salvation of Time. All you need is a way to go invis, and early game, it's gonna be from the priest side, from the Skane side, and late game, once we've beaten Console Horde. I mean, not that much later game, obviously, but we're gonna rush Console Horde. But once we've beaten Console Horde, we will have the superior invis from Alchemist spellbook, which is really cool. So, let's start with this. To CC our little girlfriend. And I guess weapon-wise we start going with these.
I have an intelligence of 6. I know what I'm doing.
Safe with you, Captain. I just know it is all.
They won't see me coming long as I keep my eyes closed.
Oops, I was muted, sorry. Going with the Adras drone isn't that risky with 5 stealths, but on the other hand, I don't need an Adras drone. But it's not really that risky. It's actually pretty easy. The main problem about it is that I don't need it, so it's an unnecessary risk. I ended up going Armor because I'm not a fighter anymore. So the only way I get resistance to stuns is by using an item with resistance to stuns. And at the end of the day, the dwarf thing against Hawani Away was just a very small part of the run. Like, there was a reason why I picked dwarf over the other classes when I was still a fighter and I had might, affliction, resistance from the fighter side. But at the end of the day, except for Godlike, which is the worst class for the specific build I'm going for, because my build includes a helmet. But all the other classes are good, each on their own. Good enough. It's just that when I was a fighter, there was no reason to go Armor. But now that I'm not a fighter, there's no reason to not go Armor. Because 2 might is good for a mage. But yeah, this is not that bad with 5 styles.
Leave this to Professor Grog.
I almost misclicked that though. That the game doesn't pause while you're looting is really, really, really obnoxious. Yeah, I was pretty adrenaline there. I was definitely a little close because I misclicked. But we're fine. But yeah, with 5, the thing is they don't notice you even if they look at you, so... I hope I have spark crackers though. I didn't even check if I do. I mean, you don't need them with 5. But if I have one, I'm gonna use it. I do have one, okay, cool. I think you always get one somewhere.
I have an intelligence of 6. I know what I'm doing. Ooh, good thinking. Leave this to Professor Grog.
So ideally, I use the spark cracker
Swift and silent.
not to start off, but like when I'm going around the corner. But I don't know if I'm really got the clicks for that, if I really have the, what do you want to call it, the timing, the mechanics. If you could hotkey this, it would be a lot better. But you can't. That was scary. If you bump into them, your circle does not matter. And I was so close to these guys. I do use hotkeys for like skills, but you can't actually hotkey consumables. It's not possible, as far as I know. But yeah, I use my mouse keys mostly. Like stuff like F1 and whatnot I use to get it on this skill bar, but I don't really actively use them in combat. But I use my mouse keys for like page down and page up and stuff like that.
I have an intelligence of 6.
Like later my invis is gonna be on one of these and my withdraw is gonna be on the other. Stuff like that. But yeah, I really wish you could hotkey this. That would be amazing. Because like going down here, then pointing where you want it, and at the same time being aware of everything that's happening is really annoying for me. So being able to press F5 is so weird. Yeah, that's also true. So ideally, I would love to sneak to here, then throw a Sparkcracker and go around this awkward corner. But I can't do that because I suck at clicking. So instead... Oh, this is also new to me with expert mode, that you don't see your range you can throw this with. So I think the best we can do is something like this. Then just hope that this corner doesn't fuck us, because it always does. You know? It always does. And there goes the Sparkcracker. So yeah, throwing the Sparkcracker, that doesn't do anything. So I'm not using it in a good spot. Well, one problem was, as always, smart camera. Yeah, stealth level is 5. The problem is I can't bump into them, is my main problem. Like, sneaking in their face, I can do that. Easy. But not bump into them. It's my main concern. And this corner is really bad for that. But I think we're fine. Nope. We're not fine. We're dead. See? I have to learn how to use Sparkcrackers. I've always done it without it, but I have to learn how to do it. At the beginning of the dungeon, you can get crafting material for 3 more Sparkcrackers. Yeah, maybe I should have done more than 1. I mean, the sneaking isn't the problem. It's like bumping into the enemy. Fuck this. I mean, all over, I think this is the second time this ever happened to me in many, many practice runs. But it had to be on the actual run. It had to be on the actual run. Level 2. Oh, do I have to save? Maybe, because I died. That would be really helpful. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for telling me that. That is extremely helpful. That will only help before... That will only help before I have to save, though. I mean, every now and then I'll have to save, so my game doesn't fuck me by crashing or something.
You should prepare for
But that's still awesome. Yeah, I think I just have to learn how to use Sparkcrackers there.
The pirates of Deadfire are notorious. I suggest you deal with them quickly.
I've already learned how to not use them. How to waste them. So that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know if you go there low level.
I'll give her up easy, and I'll see you get us. Put this up like
You heard bandwidth! After!
I wonder if you go there low level, if it will help with the enemy stealth detection, because they're not upscaled from the level scaling. Like if I go down level 1 or level 2, I have less stealth, but they will not be upscaled, so maybe it doesn't matter. But I haven't tested that, so I'm not gonna risk it. Rend Rock. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for the follow.
Storm's picking up. Take cover.
I did say that, Virgilius, but then I messed up and I didn't get Gift of the Machine in my self-created file or whatever you call it, so I thought, what the heck, let's use my ultimate run from PoE 1, as was the original plan. Oh, I just rescued Shityu Pack. I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't matter. There's mainly one Thief's Putty you get out of that, which is pretty good, don't get me wrong. But the gloves are just something you sell for like 200 gold or so.
It's a relief. Like that is, assume my
I feel it's more appropriate if I use my imported ultimate run from PoE 1 to do this ultimate.
Hey, whoa. Good thinking.
Even though it was much easier in PoE 1. I really wish there was a hotkey for changing the camera mode.
Spy, Magran here. My flame burns yet. Is that you? Aye. Doesn't it? Fine. Good. On solid ground, aye, but the world spins. I need a drink.
I wonder how much work it would be allow users to hotkey anything they want. I mean, it's not an actual function of the game, it's like a menu thing. So unless there's a control for it, I'm pretty sure that's impossible. I might be wrong. Oh, you're not talking about modding, you're talking about the game designers. Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't be too much work, I guess. Just put it in this menu. Easy. Or just expand this menu, or I don't even know. It shouldn't be too hard for sure. But yeah, I don't think it's in here. It's for the world map. Does that actually work everywhere? Or just on the world map? So let's say I do this for middle mouse because I don't even know what